I woke up to a crazy story this morning, March 18th, 2025. This happened just over a year ago. I was going through a rough patch in my marriage, and that rough patch got worse. I wanted to fix my marriage because my wife had slowly gotten distant over the period of time. I am a public works supervisor, and my wife works for the city. For context, we had been married 29 years. We have two kids who are very successful in their careers. What could go wrong in a marriage that has lasted for almost 3 decades? Our son is a police officer, and our daughter is a social worker. My wife didn't have a huge group of female friends. She once told me that a few of her female friends were stepping out on their husbands. She slowly distanced herself from those women. She would tell me things these women did while their husbands were away. One story she told me was a friend of hers, while her husband was away, a guy she was cheating with came to her house with another guy and they had a threesome. Wow, that's horrible. I can see why some of these men resort to violence. My wife told me she could never ever do that. Fast forward about 6 months, I went to my wife's job one morning because she forgot to take her lunch with her. Well, when I got to her department, people looked at me like, what the hell was I doing there? Her supervisor told me she had the day off, but she had her uniform on when she left for work that morning. So I left her job in a daze, but I didn't fly off into a rage. When I got back to my vehicle, I called a couple of times and sent a couple of text messages. She didn't respond right away, but she called me a few minutes later and I flat out asked her why did she take off work and why did she dress like she was going to work and not show up. She was like, no, I did go to work. But she got into a discussion with her supervisor about taking off because she had accumulated so many vacation days and I took a day off right then and there. I am not sure I believe that statement she made. Usually there is a process you go through before taking a day off work while you're at work, I think. She tells me she went to get her hair and nails done. I got home about 6 p.m. and sure enough, she had gotten her hair cut and did her nails. In the back of my mind, I still don't believe her, but I trusted her because she has never given me a reason not to. Now, here is where things get a little interesting. My wife's sex drive has dwindled over the last almost 3 decades. Well, all of a sudden, I started seeing flyers around the house and in the mail about hormone therapy, hormone replacement therapy. I could already tell this is not going to end well. Now, keep in mind, she hasn't said anything to me about hormone therapy. We are usually intimate about once a week, but that has been pushed back to like maybe twice every couple or 3 weeks. But here is where the red alert starts nudging me. She was cooking dinner one night, and in the past, I used to come up behind her, wrap my arms around her, and give her a little affection. Well, she snapped and pushed me away. I was like, whoa, what the hell is up with you? You used to enjoy that. She apologized and said I surprised her, which really didn't make any sense to me because in the last 29 years, it never used to surprise her. After dinner, we watched a movie, but the whole time her reaction to me touching her made my mind go crazy. Well, one night after getting home from work, my wife sent a text saying she was going to the mall with a few of her girlfriends. She only had a couple of ladies she hung out with. Unfortunately for my wife, she was caught in a lie because one of the women who she named in the text came by the house to drop off a pot that she used to cook a roast in while she was at the mall. This is crazy. It sounds like whatever his wife is doing is starting to unravel. When my wife came back home later that evening, I didn't say anything to her. I left the pot that she loaned to her friend on the kitchen counter. I did not put it away. Fast forward 2 weeks, I have noticed my wife going out more with her girlfriends. She even canceled a couple of movie dates we had lined up. Believe me, I was mad as hell, but I didn't let my wife see my emotions. I remember Tony saying in one of the videos, don't ever let someone make a fool out of you. I wasn't going to go through her shit or try to break into her electronics. By the way, she never had passwords on any of her electronics until after she saw the pot on the counter. You know, the one that was returned by the friend she loaned it to. With that, I did some research on the internet about private investigators. After about 3 days of searching for a private investigator, I found one. The initial cost was $5,500. I paid it right away. That's expensive, but in the long run, this can possibly save him thousands of dollars. Remember, they have been married for almost 30 years. After I hired the private investigator, all intimacy and affection stopped in my marriage, and it was sudden. But I didn't question her, didn't get angry or accuse her of anything. The old me would have been in her face yelling at her. So, about 3 weeks later, my private investigator had a bunch of stuff to show me. I asked him if he could meet me at the park near my job. Man, when he got out of his car, he had what looked like a huge folder just for me. The first thing the private investigator asked me was, "Did you know your wife was bisexual?" I looked at him and asked him, what the hell was he talking about? Well, come to find out, my wife was cheating on me with a woman and 2 other men. The private investigator tracked her to one of the women in her so-called friend group. I would have never guessed a woman would be part of her infidelity. He then asked me another question that threw me for a loop. Were you aware of your wife going to an abortion clinic? He says, I couldn't get her medical record, but she went to an abortion clinic a few times. I thought to myself, my wife is 49 years old. Why in the hell is she going to an abortion clinic? She can't have kids, unless I thought she couldn't. The 2 men she was sleeping with, they were both married. The private investigator got photos and videos of her being intimate with these men in various places, including my house when I was at work. After I had the meeting with the private investigator, I went to a coffee shop to catch my breath, so to speak, and go over the information one more time. So, fast forward 3 days, and I have an appointment with a divorce attorney to go over all the evidence the private investigator gathered. My attorney tells me the first thing I should do is set up separate bank accounts. Don't touch anything else. If you start closing accounts, it may alert her that something is going on. Let her continue as normal. I filed for divorce that day. My wife was still doing her thing, going out with her girlfriends. Well, anyway, that's what she told me. I went through the motions for 6 weeks before she was served with divorce papers at her job. The next thing I did, well, I think I messed up. I told my kids what their mother did before my soon-to-be ex-wife was served with the divorce papers. We were both shocked beyond belief. To my surprise, they never told their mother. The day she was served with divorce papers, she came home, didn't say a word to me, packed a few things and left without saying anything. I was sitting on the couch when she left. I didn't lift a finger to help her do anything. From her reaction, seems like she doesn't care or she is mentally checked out. All of her friends jumped on me and thought I was the bad guy until I sent each one of them a snippet of a video clip of my wife walking to her AP's car and then her head going up and down in his car. You can use your imagination on that one. 2 months later, we had the divorce hearing. My wife's lawyer said she deserved half of everything. But when the judge saw the footage of her infidelity with one of her friends and the 2 other men, all she got was 30% of the equity of the home when it's sold. She got to keep her car. It's an older Honda Accord and 40% of the savings we had. All of the credit card debt that she used for her affair, she must pay back. The 2 men she was cheating with, one had a fiance and one had a wife. Both women found out what their men were up to. I guess that's the norm these days. If you can find out who the betrayed spouses are, everyone says they should be notified. It's been 5 months since the divorce, and the kids usually come stay with me when they visit. Neither one of them have spoken to their mom. My ex-wife hasn't reached out a lot. She sent one text and I didn't respond to it. The house is still on the market, and when it sells, I will probably look for a place closer to my job. Anyway, I wanted to get this story out to Tony so he could share it with his audience. Furthermore, just like Tony always says, just pay attention. Don't ignore the small red flags. Those are the ones we really need to pay attention to. Oh, by the way, both my son and my daughter are mine biologically. First, I want to thank OP for sharing a story. And second, guys, I will say this again. If something seems off in your relationship, get to the bottom of it.